There we go. So we'll do a little workshop today on Google Maps. And I'll do my best to show you how it's done, and you can follow along since you have the computers. Now, Google Maps is interesting because there's a couple different things happening all at once. You go to maps.google.com. That's your general how you get directions and what you need to do for your typical usage of maps. Now you go to Google Maps and you want to find Southwestern College, the general area. And one of the important things is to make sure that you're logged in to your Southwestern College account in Google Maps. Do you see that? So sometimes when you go to Google Maps, it just says guest or maybe even a different Gmail account. But try to be logged in to your Southwestern College account. And to do that, you'll need to get that same login from MySWC. But if you can do that, that is really the key to unlock sort of a hidden secret part of Google Maps. That now that you're logged in, you can save data on a map for a specific project. So make sure you're logged in here on the top left. And then when you go to the menu, you click Your Places. And then you can go to Maps over on the side. You can go down to Create Map. So basically what you've done is you've copied Google Maps, and now you're going to be able to add stuff on top of Google Maps. Are folks trying to do that? Can you do that? Anyone having trouble?
Do it my own personal, or does it have to be exactly?
It doesn't have to be at Southwestern. Yeah.
Process.
Sure, yeah. You need to be logged into any Google account so it can save the data. So we're going to once again zoom in down to Southwestern College, or really to our project area. Kind of good practice to zoom in from far away. And look, there's Taco Bell. That's what I use to find the place. We go down to the base map. We can pull up the satellite image. That's going to be helpful and important. So you can add layers on top of this Google Map. So we need to pull up the assignment that I handed out. Did I hand out the assignment, or did I not yet hand out the assignment? I did not hand out the assignment. Okay, so what we're going to do is just basically do some site analysis. And when you get the assignment, you'll have all the info you need. I apologize. I thought we had already given it. Now I recall all we did was talk about it and talk about landscape maintenance contracts. So let's do a little brainstorm. What are the different types of information we're going to need to know about this site before we can give good estimates? Yeah.
I assume it's all green areas.
Exactly. Yep.
Are we?
Yes, it's going to be like an annual sort of a thing. Yeah. But it's mainly landscape. So you're not doing mechanical stuff, or it's all the green space in this area. Yes. The area. Yep. And do you recall the lecture we gave last time looking at landscape maintenance contracts? And we had like a breakdown of general areas and general tasks. We were looking at trees and shrubs, lawn, annuals, things like that. So let's make some layers in relation to those categories. So the first layer, we'll just call it lawn.
How do we get the layer portion?
So when you go to, once you're logged in,
Yep.
On the left-hand side, you can see like 3 lines.
Got that.
You click your places. And then on the right-hand side is maps. Your places, maps.
Oh,
Yeah, and then you can create a new map. And so we've got our base map, and we will add a layer on top for lawns. Now I'll tell you what you're basically going to do here is like GIS, Geographic Information System, mapping, but you can do it for free all through Google. So it's pretty powerful of a tool. So we want to zoom in on this area and try to find all of the lawn areas. We kind of have our overall space. Now I'm looking, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I see some lawn up here against the road. A little bit more over here, it looks like. And even Taco Bell's got some grass, doesn't it? Almost everything else looks to be mixed shrubs, all up against the roads, in the front. We'll have to verify, but I believe this is just annuals right in front of a monument sign, and then some little shrubs or ground covers. So one thing I'm going to do actually is open another tab. I'm going to try to just go to regular Google Maps, because we're in our saved maps, but we need to take this little man and go down to the street view, don't we? So to answer your question, Madison, about the corner, so it's a little bit different of an image, but I think what you were seeing was this lantana hedge that in the overhead looks like it goes around the corner. But I like this one better. Let's say that this is the real deal. Looks nicer. I think it's a newer image from 2021. So we can kind of go along and we can see, okay, we've got grass here, we've got Raphiolepis behind, and then same thing up here. Funny, I knew this was March because look at how filled with blooms this is. More grass. Raphiolepis is in bloom, March 22. Then we go all the way up here, no grass there. Will it let us go in the parking lot? Yes, it will. So do we have grass under these trees in the parking lot? No. We have shrubs, but we do have grass around Taco Bell. Look, there's my car going to get a Crunchwrap Supreme. So one of the things I'm just trying to illustrate is how much data you can gather without even going to the place. In fact, it's probably better data than if you did go to the place. Because here we can, as long as we trust these photos, we can see all kinds of information. Even go back here and see, okay, what's behind? Will it really let us go all the way? Wow, look at that. You can see the whole back edge here, trees and retaining wall with honeysuckle vine growing on top. Okay, very cool. Now I'll go back in the other tab to the Google map. I need to save what I had made. So we're going to save our map as LNT 131, 2022. Go down and find the project again. Once you save it, it'll hold you in that place. Bring my base map to satellite, and now we need to get my lawn layer going again. There we go. We need to take some data about lawns, and we want to know the area of lawn. So in our lawn layer, we can go up here and draw a line. Add line or shape. And once you click that, you should be able to put a point on the map. And notice I put a point in the corner. And then I just click along the outline of the lawn area and click as many times as you want. I'm going to need to zoom out a little. We want to try to do a full outline of the entire lawn area, best as we can, and connect all those dots to make a loop that goes around the entire thing. There we go. So I'll just call this Street Lawn 1. And now you can see that it tells me that this polygon, this shape, is 0.05 acres. That's the area. And the perimeter is 449 feet, 450 feet. Can everybody do that? Are you able to get that far? And if you like to make it fancy, you can make it green in color. So that way, when it's visible, it shows up as green. See that? And then we'll do the other lawn right next to it. We're still in this lawn layer, but we're going to add another line. Go right across the driveway. Made a mistake. I delete that. Start a new one. We will include the area of the trees, but I'm trying to exclude the area of the shrubs behind. Because we still have to take care of the lawn under the trees. Say Street Lawn 2. There we go. Get that green. Questions so far? Everybody able to follow along? And we need to do this Taco Bell area. And if you really wanted to, you could zoom in here and go super crazy. But what I'm going to do is just suggest, if you're going to mow this area, you're also going to need to move the mower to that little area, to this little area. So we can make a Taco Bell lawn that just includes all of the grass and passes over the sidewalks. But we don't want to include the building, because remember, how important is it to be super accurate? Well, we're just trying to calculate all this area of grass that needs to be maintained. So if you do something like this, Taco Bell lawn, even though there's sidewalks down the middle, we know we're going to need to kind of mow that general area. Your lawnmower still needs to pass over that space, even though you don't have grass to cut. So there we go. Now, all in all, there's data in this. So if we were going to calculate the total area of lawn, we would click here and read the 0.042 acres. We would be adding the 0.058 acres and then the 0.093 acres, and basically trying to get a total area amount. You go to Google, you can convert acres to square feet. Let's do that just to get an idea of the kinds of calculations you would want to do. Acres to feet squared. Now, your numbers might be slightly different if you're doing, you might not be 0.093, but let me open my calculator here. If people add up the lawn area, what are you getting? In acres first, yeah. .192. What'd you get, Jason? Point what? Okay. 0.223. Okay. I had 0.22. So yeah, somewhere between a fifth and a fourth of an acre. Now we go to that other tab. You can just put acres to square feet. How many acres? I'll say 0.22. And so basically that's 9,583 square feet of lawn. Pretty interesting, isn't it? And hopefully you can see that's quite a valuable tool, especially later if we can decide that to mow a lawn, we can mow, how many square feet a minute, for example. Yes. Yes, this is the way to go. So that is how to do a polygon and collect the area for it. Now let's add a tree layer because we're going to need to maintain the trees maybe once or twice a year. So you come up here to the left-hand side and you say add layer. We're going to change the name to trees. And one interesting thing, because we had trees in the lawn, right? So this checkbox will hide the lawn. You can make it come back and you can hide the lawn. Now trees, we don't need an area. We just need to know how many trees total, right? Because each tree is going to require some maintenance per year. If we can get a total number of trees, then that's pretty good. So instead of doing the line and polygon, we can add marker. Do you see that point here? So by clicking add marker, you can actually just go right there and drop a point. And for now, there's no need to name the tree, but if you wanted to, you could actually name the type of tree, the species, and whether, then you would know, is it deciduous or not? You could add photos. So you've got a point. So we're going to do that same thing for all the trees we can find. Well, if you can't tell, go back to your Google Street View and use that for reference. So I'm looking on the Google Street View. It looks like on this upper area, it's all shrubs. But if we go down H Street, yeah, so we've got a tree between Taco Bell and the grass. So find that one. I don't see it on the map here. Right around here. Oh, that's a, oh yeah, that's a tree. Look at that. Perfect. Yeah. So we can be referencing the street view and this other view. There's another tree on the driveway, isn't there? See that one right here. So it's a very simple job of just going around and adding a point on all of the trees. So I see the 2 in the lawn. Looks like when we get to the corner, there's also going to be 2. So I think this is 1 here. I think we have another one. Maybe 2 of them right here. Yeah. Okay, yeah, there's 1 back here and 1 up front. That's a street tree. The only street tree, but we'll maintain it. All right. Just keep going around making points. So Nate, what we've done is we've added another layer called trees. You can hide the lawn. And instead of an area, we're doing points, or what they call marker. And then if it's difficult to find a tree on the overhead map, you can switch to a Street View tab in order to verify what is an actual tree. Looks like there's some on the map that aren't there in person anymore. says 2022. I think they're lying. Well, yeah, because if there's no tree here, a tree didn't grow overnight. So they cut the tree down. Yeah, exactly. So that tree's gone. Now I'm kind of going along the street. There's somebody waving a sign. It's kind of creepy, the amount of information you can gain, right? Good thing most people don't have bad intentions. And we're going to include this tree right on the corner as kind of the boundary of the project. Okay, so I don't need to go through and mark every single tree. We know there's some also in the parking lot. You can do that in your own time. I'm trying to just kind of show you some of the different capabilities. And mainly the points plus the areas are the two things we want to be able to do. Now, just notice this individual styles here. If you click on that, we can change the color. We should be able to group by layer or something like that. So we can make them all look the same. Uniform style, that's what we need to click. All items, we can change them to look however we want. You can even go down here to the icon and you could give them a little tree symbol if you could find one. There we go, we'll give them a little pine tree. So now you see all our trees are gonna have this little tree symbol. That's pretty cool, right? And then you can turn the lawn back on, and now you've got both layers, and you can see where you've got trees and where you've got lawn. So let's just brainstorm a little bit else. What other layers might we want? Because I'm going to let you fill in the tree layer in your own time. What else do we need to think about? Shrubs, that's right. And shrubs, kind of funny because in a landscape, it is sort of a layer, isn't it? It's like the shrub layer. You could choose to do points or area. What do you think is going to be more important? Area. I agree, because we're going to need to kind of weed the shrub beds, trim the shrub beds, remove trash and debris from the shrub beds. So in general, we want area of shrub beds. So you know how to do that by calculating the line. There we go. You can just call it bed 1, whatever you like. Color them purple if you want. Whatever makes sense. Any other kind of layers we may want to include? Yeah, sort of the vine in the back. Yep. Let's do that. Let's call it the vine layer. It's kind of its own massive thing. And is area going to be important?
Well, I don't know how you look at it. Area is, I mean, vertical on the wall.
Yeah,
Area.
but how would you measure it? You say, okay, we've got 50 feet of vines that we're going to have to keep trimmed, right? Or 100 feet.
Yeah.
So it's more about just a line than an area.
Yeah.
So for vine, you can use that same tool, and instead of, let me delete that. I'm going to try to zoom out here. I want to verify, where does this vine actually start? I think I got to go into the driveway here. Someday you'll have virtual reality glasses and you can travel anywhere on the earth in a weird way like this. Okay. I think you could. So here it looks like the vine kind of starts at this tree behind the dentist. Now it's not 100% vine, but you'd still have to maintain it. And so if we start at this tree, check out this tree. What kind of tree is that? That's the Pinus sulphonensis. But there is a dead tree behind it, maybe. Okay, so then we go back behind the area. Trash on the ground. And this is all vine. All the way up to pretty much the last parking lot, the last parking stall. Okay, let's go back and try to capture that. So here's the dentist. Here's that first tree. So our vine pretty much starts right there. And it goes all the way back behind this whole area. Double click. Honeysuckle. So I got 398 feet when I clicked. So pretty easy to estimate as 400 feet. You might have 450, you might have 350 if you clicked in different places, but hopefully you get pretty close to 400 feet. I don't know if you all, 375, 404, very close, nice. So any of those is okay. It's not going to change the results by a huge amount. So we just leave that as a line. What else do we need to think about?
That's probably what made one. But
Yep. So in the shrub beds, if we have shrub bed area, we can calculate a mulch material. Yep. How about this front corner? The annuals. That's a layer. It's going to need some extra attention. So we'll just go from the monument sign to the street, because I think that's more accurate of what it is today. Annual bed 1. Well, I got 0.011 also, pretty close. So there you go. Now, one thing I would recommend we do, it is not required, but it's a nice to have. We're going to add a layer I like to call total area. Just so we know, what, it may not even go into your estimate, but it's going to be helpful to know, okay, I want to manage this landscape. How big is it all together? So all I need to do is go around the whole thing. Yeah, and you can see I get 4.07 acres. So that's a very valuable amount to know. It's like, okay, I'm going to take care of this property. Well, how big is the property? It's 4 acres. It's not 4 acres of grass. It's not 4 acres of landscape, but it is helpful to know, 4 acres. When I'm coming up with time, I'm going to be driving back and forth, walking across this 4 acres. So I have to kind of account for local transportation time. Now that's a layer that most of the time you keep hidden. You can uncheck the box, but it is nice to know, okay, total, what's my area? Can you think of anything else we may want to consider, need to know, especially when it comes to a map? Estimating. Especially what landscape maintenance people need to think about a lot. Yes. Where are you going to send the stuff? Where are you going to get rid of the material? So in Google Maps, we should be able to make a layer, and we could call it whatever we want. Mobilization, transportation. But we should be able to, in this line drop down, add a driving route. Oh, it looks like it made a new layer. Well, that's okay. So here it says click on the, let me get rid of this real quick. So we're going to add a driving route from this location. Looks like it wanted me to click. I don't know, I kind of like clicked away from it or something. Let's try it again. Okay, add a driving route from here to Otay landfill. May take a little bit of practice for me to figure that out. Yeah. Okay, there's Republic Services landfill. If we go back to our little area, okay, yeah, it looks like you have to type it in. Okay. So I would recommend we try to follow the route that we would go. So we wanted to go from Otay Lakes to the landfill. But we're also going to need to consider where we drive from and where we drive back to. So we will be adding destinations to the workyard and back from the workyard, out to the site, down to the landfill, back to the place where we started. And so all of that, those directions, we should be into distance. That is total. Is it 7 miles, 18 minutes, right up top? You see that? So that information also useful to calculate fuel cost, travel time, things like that. So basically, my goal here is to show you how valuable Google Maps can be to get a bunch of information for any of the sites that you are managing as a landscape maintenance, landscape management company. And you'd never really need to leave the office. They could call you up and the next day you could give them a pretty good price based on some very reliable data. In fact, it's probably more reliable than if you went out to visit without having this backup. Now, of course, you have your estimate, you get out there and you want to make sure that it truly takes what it takes. But you can get some pretty good facts and figures this way. So how do you feel if you were going to kind of taking what we took here, follow it through and fill in the rest of the data for the number of trees, the shrub area, all that kind of stuff? Awesome. So then the only thing to remember is, where is this getting saved? Well, it's getting saved on your Google account that you use to log in. And what happens is you may go back to Google Maps later and forget how to find it. Make sure you're logged in. Go to your saved places and your maps. And then I just want to go back. And show you. Oh, no, that's not the one. I have yours from last time, Nate, when COVID just started. Yeah. Shared with in March 19th, 2020. So, I think it might be under a different login, actually. No, I have one for Southwestern College. The South Bay Botanic Garden. Before we did construction, we tried to decide what were the trees we want to save and what do we want to remove. And we basically have a photograph and a point for every tree on the site. And I had all kinds of stuff, including like every valve location and where that irrigation valve irrigated and which hydro zone it was. Is it a low water, medium water? And even red lines for where the pipes go underground. And you can get all kinds of stuff if you're managing a landscape for many years. And Google Maps, you can store all that really valuable data. And when it came time to do construction, they said, okay, we need to know about your trees. I said, here, share. And they automatically had all the trees listed. And I went and gave them a red, yellow, green. So green is we must keep it. Yellow is let's keep it if we can, but if it has to go, that's okay. And a red was please take this away. There were only a handful of reds, there were a bunch of greens, and most of them were yellow because we wanted to keep our options open. And so such a powerful communication tool about a landscape from a public garden management perspective. And as you, the key piece is being able to add photos. Super valuable. So looking on these points, this photo piece, uploading the photo for each point makes it a very powerful tool. So you click here, you can see the image right next to the point. And just a kind of nice feature to know about. The things we're talking about, normally you would do with GIS. So architects, landscape architects use mapping software, and Google does it all for free. May not be 100% accurate, and it may not be easily exportable to AutoCAD. So that's where you would use ArcGIS or some other software. But for landscape estimating, it does everything you need. It's a perfect job and really valuable for collecting data. And very quickly you can figure it out. And most people have no idea all this is there on Google Maps, ready for you to use it if you just log in and find it kind of under the surface. So that was the plan for today, to review this info with you and kind of do a little Google Maps workshop. And yeah, Madison, it sounds like you wish you had this for assignments. Well, yeah. Well, now you've got it. So for future assignments or future projects, there you go. And if you're managing even your own yard, a big landscape, you might start putting data down in there if you find it useful, helpful, things like that. Yeah. It's stored online, so you can go to someone else's house, pull it up, you can find it on your phone, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly. They already do? Yeah.
All your information is already.
Yeah.
Multiple people already have it. It's just a pile of 10 million of them.
Yeah.
And you're not rich enough to. That's what it is. Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. That's the key stuff of the day. Let me end this here.